guys, I'm Stephanie here. Welcome to another episode of the Royal Recap, where I recap what we did during our Story Tots virtual tea party. So in case you couldn't make it and you missed the story, stay tuned because I'm going to read the story and go over what we did. So this week, we did The Princess and the Frog. I was the Frog Prince. I had a little kiss mark here. And we had a very special princess this week because we did a drawing and our very own Brad drew the card of the princess. And there are pictures. There you can see Brad in his pretty princess outfit and his little tiara. As you can see, we had a lot of fun. So, Princess Brad held the book for me while I read this story. And since he's not here, I'll have to do it on my own. But we read two different versions of The Princess and the Frog. We read Princess Zelda and the Frog, and the other Frog Prince from the Stinky Cheese Man, and other fairly stupid tales. So we will start with Princess Zelda and the Frog. I love this book because it's dolls. Alright. Once upon a time, there lived a princess named Zelda. Zelda was so beautiful, her smile had been known to stop villagers in their tracks. Princess Zelda lived in a grand castle with her parents, King Sourmud and Queen Lucille. They gave her everything a princess could dream of: dazzling jewels, gowns made of the finest silk and satin, scrumptious food, and fantastic toys. The one gift they could not give her was a good night's sleep. Each night, Princess Zelda would toss and turn, count sheep, and pace the floor, but sleep would not come. Queen Lucille always said that fresh air might bring rest, so with nothing to lose, Zelda fetched her favorite golden ball, and outside she went. Princess Zelda chased the ball here and there. She kicked the ball far and wide, and then she threw it high into the air. Down it bounced, splat, right in the middle of a mud puddle. "Ew, mud," she cried. "How will I ever get my ball?" A deep voice answered, "What's wrong, princess? What's wrong with the little mud, Sparkles? It's great for unclogging the pores." Surprised, Princess Zelda looked up. Sitting on the other side of the puddle was the ugliest frog she'd ever seen. I don't know, I think he's pretty cute. "If you must know, this gown is 100% pure silk. That aching mud will ruin it," Princess Zelda exclaimed. "Maybe I can help Silky Pants," croaked the frog. "What will you give me if I get your ball?" "Not a thing," exclaimed Princess Zelda. "I will get it myself." Back to the castle the princess went and returned with a fetching purple bikini. But when she looked at the mucky puddle, she quickly realized that mud and princesses just don't mix. Princess Zelda thought for a minute and then said, "If you get me my ball, I will give you my crown, my diamond choker, and a gift card for a royal massage." "No, thanks, sweet cakes," he said. "However, if you let me eat from your golden bowl, drink from your golden goblet, sleep on your golden bed with my head on your golden pillow, and promise to be my best friend forever, I will get your ball." Princess Zelda felt queasy when she heard the frog's request. She really, really wanted her golden ball back. "I promise," she stammered. Such a cute face. "It's a deal, Princess Perfect," shouted the frog. Then he jumped splat into the mud, picked up the golden ball, and tossed it to the princess. "Whoopee!" she cried. She took the ball and ran all the way back to the castle. Wait up, princess, the frog called after her, but Princess Zelda was gone. That evening, as the royal family began dinner, they heard a flip, flap, splush, flip, flap, flip. It sounded like little wet feet climbing the marble staircase. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door, and a voice cried out, "Oh, BFF, please let me in so I might see your lovely grin." Princess Zelda ran to the door and opened it. Sure enough, it was the frog from the muddy puddle. "What are you doing here?" she gasped and slammed the door right in the frog's face. "What's wrong, my dear child?" asked Queen Lucille, as the shocked and shaken princess returned to the table. Princess Zelda sadly told her mother the whole story, and at that moment, there was another knock. "Oh, BFF, please let me in so I might see your lovely grin. Remember the promise you made to me. Please let me in. We're meant to be." "Princess Zelda, you made a promise. You must let him in," said the queen. The princess did as she was told. Flip, flop, boosh. The frog hopped into the room over to the table. "Scooch over so I can eat from your golden bowl," the frog ordered. Princess Zelda watched in disgust as he ate and slurped, snippets of sticky food covering his slimy face. "Delicious," said the frog, letting out a loud burp. "Can't wait to sack out in your golden bed tonight. See you later, sweetums." The frog flip-flopped out the door. This is my favorite face in the entire book. I love that face. After dinner, Princess Zelda burst into her mother's chambers. "Oh, Mother, how can I share my fine silk bed with such a despicable beast?" she cried. The queen grew angry. "A promise is a promise, my dear. You must keep your word and do as the frog says." Later that night, as promised, the frog returned to the castle. "Oh, BFF, please let me in so I might see your lovely grin. Remember the promise you made to me. Please let me in. We're meant to be." The princess opened the door and led the frog upstairs to her royal bedroom. At first, Princess Zelda tried to offer the frog a plain white pillow made of perfectly respectable cotton polyester blend. But the frog kicked up a fuss. "Nice try, BFF. Now let me sleep in your golden bed with your golden pillow, or I'll tell your mother," he warned. Princess Zelda did as she was asked and allowed the frog to sleep in her splendid bed. Instantly, the frog fell asleep and began to snore. Princess Zelda fumed. "What a vexing noise! I will never get to sleep." But as she listened to the frog's deep rumbling snore, a feeling of peace washed over her. Before long, the princess was lulled into a deep sleep herself. Aww. The next morning, Princess Zelda woke feeling fabulous. Never had she slept so soundly. She turned to thank the frog, but he was gone. In his place was the most handsome prince. "Who are you?" she demanded, "and where is the frog?" "A wicked witch turned me into a frog," the prince exclaimed. "But you kept your promise and were true to your word. You, my BFF, broke the spell." Princess Zelda's beautiful smile stretched across from ear to ear. She looked at her prince and said, "Oh, BFF, you were so right. I used to toss and turn at night. But with your snoring next to me, it's plain to see we're meant to be." The end. This is one of my favorite books. Wasn't that a lovely story? I love how it's just dogs. So, for our next story, we will be taking a story from The Stinky Cheese Man. And we will be reading The Other Frog Prince, which is only a few pages long. So, here we go. The Other Frog Prince. Crown is falling off. Once upon a time there was a frog. One day he was sitting on his lily pad. He saw a beautiful princess sitting by the pond. He hopped in the water, swam over to her, and poked his head out of the weeds. "Pardon me, beautiful princess," he said in his most sad and pathetic voice. "I wonder if you could help me." The princess was about to jump and run, but she felt sorry for the frog with the sad and pathetic voice. So she asked, "What can I do to help you, little frog?" "Well," said the frog, "I'm not really a frog, but a handsome prince who was turned into a frog by a wicked witch's spell. And the spell can only be broken by the kiss of a beautiful princess." The princess thought about this for a second, then lifted the frog from the pond and kissed him. "I was just kidding," said the frog. He jumped back into the pond, and the princess wiped the frog slime off her lips. The end. Well, that was an unexpected twist. So, after we read our stories, we made our craft for the week, which is actually my little band here. And that way everybody could either be just a frog or a frog prince to fit both of our stories. We also had a magical transformation where we put our hands out like this and we did the magic fingers and we turned Princess Brad back into normal, ordinary Brad. And as well, we turned Frog Prince into Miss Stephanie again. And it was a magical time. We also gave away a copy of the books, and we had another lovely participant win those. So thanks for joining me for another episode of the Royal Recap. Make sure that you tune in next week for another Royal Recap. And make sure that you tune in to our Story Tots virtual tea party Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. on Zoom. I'll see you next time.